Hey, what's up friends? Welcome to the second channel. Today I wanted to address the ranked system explanation the Marvel Rivals devs did. I want to really quickly thank my channel member Wisefool for sending this to me, because this was apparently never uploaded to YouTube. At least, not by the Marvel Rivals team, and thus would have completely flown under my radar if not for you, Wisefool. Thank you. Now, it's already a pretty big red flag that the Marvel Rivals team's response to the EOMM or rigged matchmaking allegations was never uploaded to their YouTube, but I'm not even here today to talk about EOMM. Crazy, right? There's two main reasons for this. The secondary reason is that I just don't know what the truth is. The video claims they just don't use EOMM, while I've seen others show quote-unquote proof of EOMM. Not just those anecdotal proof YouTube videos where people show like 20 games total on 2 different accounts and claim that's proof, but from like some patents or something that like in some weird legal documents where NetEase like had described an EOMM ranked system or something like that. The point is, that isn't a useful discussion here because someone is wrong. I can't tell you which because I'm not the one who designed the rank system's inner workings. And though those who did have stated there is no EOMM, obviously they have incentive here to lie. But we can even give them the benefit of the doubt if we want to, because that's not even one of the issues I have with the ranked system as it's described in this video. Even if we believe everything we were told here, this ranked system is still completely illogical and breaks the integrity of what rank means within Marvel Rivals entirely. Let's get into why. I want to start with the one that confuses me the most. I cannot fathom how this makes sense to anyone on the planet with a shred of capability for intelligent thought. The ranked system points you get or lose per game are weighted. They will not always just be win 20, lose 20. This is something we already know, and the first factor that plays into this discrepancy in gains versus losses is rank differential, which is honestly pretty par for the course in ranked games. You beat a strong opponent, you gain more. You beat a weak one, you gain less. Even in PvE games, this kind of phenomenon exists. But pay close attention to the phrasing in this section. They state that your ranked gains and losses are weighted by comparing your rank to the average of the enemy team's ranks. Do you notice something really strikingly obvious missing from this equation? Something that should be really important? I'll give you a hint. What is the difference between Marvel Rivals and Dead by Daylight? Okay, yes, that too. But the big thing I'm thinking of is that game is 1v4, while Marvel Rivals is 6v6. Now, whose ranks did we forget to factor into this equation? If you said your own team's ranks, the Marvel Rivals dev team would ask you why. Why should your team's ranks be considered? Like they said in the video, you beat a strong opponent, you gain more. You beat a weaker opponent, you deserve less. Let me explain this in a way that a child would understand. Do you like Dragon Ball? I've had a bit of Dragon Ball on the mind recently, so let's use this as an example. If I told you I beat the ever-living shit out of Vegeta, you'd have to admit I'm pretty strong, right? Now, wait, I have to correct myself. Me and my buddy beat the shit out of Vegeta. Now hold on, because now we don't have the whole picture. If it turns out my buddy was Krillin, then yeah, I'm still a pretty scary guy, right? I had to do the heavy lifting there. But if I tell you my buddy is Goku, now that's an entirely different story. I barely had to participate. The mere fact I'm there to help already made things more lopsided than they needed to be. Do you see my point? Let's draw this back into Marvel Rivals. Let's say I'm playing at my usual rank of Eternity. Let's also say the entire enemy team is 6 Eternity players. Seems fair, right? Now, the video already admits that sometimes things get a bit lopsided just because the ranked system needs to find matches as fast as it can. It probably isn't usually as one-sided as what I'm about to describe, but regardless of how much this concept is stretched, the main principles of it remain true. So let's say my entire team is one above all players. We are most likely going to mop the floor with the full Eternity team, right? Now, what about if my team is entirely Celestial players? Now, assuming ranks mean anything, we are probably going to get our teeth kicked in. But what if I ended up winning? Do I really deserve the same amount of ranked points in both of those scenarios? If you load into a match and you have the actual IRL Reed Richards on your team, and you win that game, do you deserve the same amount of points as a game where you had an actual gerbil walking across the keyboard as a teammate? And don't even pretend that this doesn't happen to you. If you have played even a slight amount of Marvel Rivals, you know I'm right. As much as the ranked system may try its best, some games you get good teammates, and some games you get terrible teammates. You cannot tell me you had the same chances of winning in the games where your Doctor Strange was practically 1v6ing the entire time as you did when you had that Spider-Man who fell off the map twice and only got a single kill. This is obvious. This is a level of logic a child could muster. Even animals understand the concept of having better odds with a powerful teammate. Why, then, are the people who are paid to make a sound and logical ranked system for Marvel Rivals unable to grasp this simple concept? I think most of us want to live in a world where every plat player doesn't just treat the game like it's a 1v6 where they think they're the second coming of Christ and they're the only one who can carry their game and you just need to pocket them otherwise you're throwing. But how can we even blame players for having this mentality when even the devs think Marvel Rivals is a 1v6? This kind of stupidity is appalling to me. Listen, I'm all for giving out the same amount of ranked points no matter what the circumstances are. I was the one who said that in the first place. But if you're going to weigh point gains and losses based on certain factors like rank, you need to understand that your teammates are a part of this dynamic and need to be a part of the calculation. But friends, that's not even where the nightmare ends, because they move on to talk about how performance weights ranked gain and loss. And this one is just as bad. We've already debunked this one in excruciating detail, however. Like we've already talked about in my Scoreboard Lies series, distributing points based on performance is a terrible thing to do given even the most accurate systems of assessing player performance are often inaccurate. But even more damning is that Marvel Rivals specifically has zero idea how to accurately assess player performance. The things that are currently measured are horrendous. From the scoreboard to MVP to every single stat that affects ranked game, the Marvel Rivals devs are spectacularly bad at understanding how player contributions and stats actually affect their team. So weighing their ranked system on these terrible, meaningless numbers is yet another wrench thrown into the gaping maw of the terribly broken ranked system of Marvel Rivals. If you want to understand why they are so bad at measuring player worth, as well as how they could do this more accurately, please watch my scoreboard playlist on the main channel. I'll leave some links. Now, if this wasn't bad enough already, the video ends by essentially threatening to implement role queue, trying to use OpenQ's flaws as a scapegoat for why the ranked system leads to terrible matches right now. No, Marvel Rivals devs, do not even pretend this is why your game has problems. As someone who came from Overwatch, a game with role queue, the problems that system creates are many, many times over worse. Again, I've made an entire video on this concept, 2 actually, but you can't pretend the problems with your system are because of OpenQ and that it's just a necessary evil. The actual issues with your system are the ones I've detailed here, and they have nothing to do with OpenQ. You just don't understand math or logic or something along those lines. I can't say specifically what the issue is, but it's clear you have no idea what you're doing. Please, please stop trying to be special with this ranked stuff and just do what already works. I've already detailed how you could do something nobody else has and make it work, but the way you've put together this system is so inherently flawed that even players who don't understand why it's flawed can feel that it's broken solely off of the vibes of their matches. I find it appalling that you thought denying the EOMM allegations would solve everything. I find it appalling you used roll queue as a scapegoat for your flawed logic. I find it appalling you were too scared to upload this video to your YouTube channel. And I find it appalling that you thought the contents of this video would make your flawed system seem better once we understood it more. This remains the only thing holding your game back. Yes, there's problems with every game, and even after you solve this, there will be things to complain about and to fix, but nothing comes close to how negatively this is affecting your game, and how much better Marvel Rivals could be if you fixed it. Do what you gotta do, Netties. Okay, thank you so much for watching. A really big huge shout out to my channel members, James, Bart Simpson, Archduke, Wisefool, Bob Saget, Totally a Diva, and Roman. Y'all really mean the world to me, and I hope you're glad to see me open up the new channel. Remember, no matter where you're supporting the channel, to me you're always a part of the Fluffle. And to anyone new watching this, please like and sub, and go check out the main channel. Okay friends, see you later. Bye!